So let's go out to Amarillo, Texas, the 806, and talk to Beth. What's going on, Beth?
Hi, Dr. John. I'm super excited to talk to you today.
I am equally excited to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing good, feeling really optimistic about our call. Hopefully I'll learn something new.
Well, I'm optimistic that I won't screw this up for you and whoever it is you're calling about. So what's up?
Okay, so I'm wondering how I can help my husband see that his phone use is impacting or hindering our relationship and his relationship with our kids.
Ooh, you should text him. Just kidding. That was a fantastic joke.
That
That's
might
my best
help.
joke today. It probably would help. So tell me what's going on.
Okay, so I'll give you kind of a rundown of what our days look like recently, and this isn't always, but just here more recently, he goes to work, and when he comes home, it's just face in the phone pretty much until we go to bed.
What's he doing on that phone?
So he doesn't have a great separation between work and home, which is fine because he can't always have that with what he does. So I understand that. But
What does he do? What's he do?
He's in real estate. He does a lot of different real estate stuff. Just he flips houses, sells houses, has Airbnbs. So there's a lot of stuff that kind of follows home.
He's just got it going on.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. So he's got it going on. He gets home. He gets off of work, but he's never off of work. He just moves his body to a new physical location.
Pretty much.
And it happens to plop right in the middle of you. And how old are your kids?
Our kids are 3 and 4 months old.
Oh, geez.
So
yeah. I've lived this life. I was your husband. And I lost years with my family to a stupid cell phone. I lost them. And I can get emotional if I let myself because they're gone. I can never, ever have them back. And there will come a moment when the light bulb will go off. That one more solving a dishwasher issue at one of the bed and breakfasts, one of the whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wasn't worth losing my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old and my 9-year-old. That's what I cashed it in for. Dealing with a lawnmower issue, dealing with a drywall issue. All right. Been there.
Right.
So been there. So tell me about how you've tried to talk to him about it.
Well, the issue that we're kind of having recently is he's on his phone, and I can't tell the difference between him just scrolling through Facebook and him, typing out an email. From my perspective, I can't tell the difference.
And just so you're not crazy, there is no difference.
Okay.
None. Especially to those in relationship or trying to be in relationship around a person who is addicted to their cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
There is no difference. I don't care why you're on it. You just are. You're just not with me.
Yeah.
You're not present with us. You are here and not here. Can I tell you something bananas? There's actually some research on this.
Okay.
When somebody is at work, when they're gone, there's a physical separation and your body knows they're gone. When they come back in your presence, but they're not present, there's parts of your brain that recognizes they are there, and there's parts of your brain that recognizes they are not there.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you crazy.
I'm feeling it.
It makes you nuts. And it makes your kids bonkers because they see dad there, but dad's not there. And our brains aren't designed for that.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains are not here, unplugged. Here, plugged in. So when you talk to him, he says, "No, I got to deal with this stuff." Tell me what his responses are.
So, unfortunately, when he's on his phone and I try to spark a conversation, he just absolutely doesn't hear me. And that's one of the main issues that I'm having is I can ask a question 3 times before he ever looks up to acknowledge me. Or same with my children. They'll ask, my 3-year-old will ask him the same question 3 times before he ever looks up and says anything. I think he just is self-proclaimed one-track minded, which I just kind of
Bull crap. It's bull crap.
Yeah,
it's bull crap.
you hear me.
Yeah.
You know?
So let me ask you this. What is he hiding from in your marriage?
I don't think it's necessarily anything within our own marriage. If I'm being honest, I think he's just tired. I think
Beth, he's hiding from something. And I'm not saying he's having an affair. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm saying whatever he comes home to is he has decided, or actually is, or a toxic combination of both those, that he can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this phone is a drink and another drink and another drink. This phone is a joint. This phone is a 6-pack of Tall Boys. This phone is a bag of gummy candies. It is a way to numb out and disappear. I'm fulfilling my role. My body is here. Nobody can say I'm not present or I don't care about my kids. But I cannot. I'm hiding in my own house.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, truthfully, before we had our second son, we did a lot of, our happy moments were sitting down and really getting to talk to each other and kind of tell each other what's going on in our days. And, we would do that when we would take our oldest to the park. And then when we had our second son, things kind of got flipped upside down. He was sick for a few months and we just kind of went into survival mode. And I think we've pulled back from a little bit of that conversational intimacy, but then that also kind of trickles down into physical intimacy as well. So maybe it has to do with that.
So physical intimacy and relational intimacy are one and the same. They're intimately linked. And they're recursive. They work together. And sometimes couples get on either side of those things. Like I feel more relational when we're having sex and I feel more relational when we're chit-chatting, which leads to more sex, which leads to more relational, right? People approach that thing differently and it's at different times and different seasons and all that stuff. I would guess your husband's never got out of survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got fight, flight, or freeze, after a couple of months of fighting or of sprinting around everywhere frantically, at some point your body just says, I can't keep doing this, so I'm unplugging. Yeah. And there probably has never been a conversation, a time, a family retreat, y'all two go spend a half day together, where one of you has the courage to say, we just went through hell. And we made it. And here we are. And now what?
Yeah.
And if you don't have that conversation, your body will be trying to solve for that disconnection for years. Until somebody at work texts you and your heart starts beating faster again for the first time. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation you never intended to be in. Mm-hmm. Or he just completely unplugs from everything. Till you and the kids create alt lives, and then he just doesn't have to, he just goes off to his thing.
Right, which I know like that would be not at all what he wants. Like he literally has a heart of gold.
Absolutely.
And I know his picture for what he would want his family life to be like, and it's just not what it is right now.
There you go. And so I want to look at, yes, the phone is the issue right now. But the phone is the issue. There's a deeper issue underneath the phone, which is you don't feel connected in your marriage anymore. You, Beth. You and your husband haven't reset, Control-Alt-Deleted after your little boy was born and he was sick and y'all went through chaos and chaos and chaos. Y'all haven't said, y'all are still sprinting.
Yeah.
And he has found himself in a world he doesn't love, in a situation, not that he doesn't love you, don't you hear what I say, but he's found himself in a world that he doesn't want. And he's trapped. He's an addict. And you may have heard me say this, but all addiction is when your anxiety alarms are going off, your depression alarms are going off, all this, you crawl up in the kitchen and your smoke detector is going off and you just take a pillow and you duct tape it around around the alarm, just so it'll be quiet. Mm-hmm. And that's all that phone is. And he found himself with a 4-year-old and a young kid, or a 2-year-old and a young kid, and he doesn't know how to engage with them. And he found himself with a wife that he remembers deep talks with, and he remembers crazy bonkers sex with, and now it's just y'all are running a business together, and he's just gonna stay on the phone.
Yeah.
And those things turn into spirals, and all of a sudden you find yourselves 2 inches apart on the couch and 2,000 miles away from each other, right?
Right.
So here's what I'll tell you. The worst time to have a conversation about the cell phone is when he's holding the cell phone.
Which is hard because he's always holding the cell phone.
So here's what I want you to do. This is going to take some bravery on your part. It's going to be a risk. I want you to tell him, I need you to put the phone down and hold both of my hands and look me in my eyes. And he'll go, oh gosh. Have him do that. And if he won't do it, you're going to have to write this down on a piece of paper, on a letter.
Nah, he'll do it.
Okay. Say, I have booked us a night at a hotel, and I have booked us at some restaurant here near Amarillo. I've got childcare for us. We have 2 little ones. We're disconnected, and I want to talk about what comes next in our marriage. Will you please join me? And here's the rule about this time together. No phones. None. 0. Okay? And if he says, well, I just can't, I want you to tell him, I want to talk about the future of our marriage, and I want to have no phones when we have this conversation. And I need you to say it like that so he feels you and hears you.
Okay.
And let's be real. There's a part of you that is scared that you are losing him. Am I right?
Yeah.
There's a part of you that is scared because he's going away, like you're holding sand and he's just falling through your fingers. And if he can't hear you, he needs to hear, honey, I'm scared about what tomorrow is going to look like for us. Because right now, you're more interested in your phone than you are your wife and kids. And I'm asking you to come spend some time with me so we can talk about what comes next without a phone. And in the meantime, I know it's a pain in the butt, but I want you to get some childcare. Y'all go spend a half day together. But I want you to write down your concerns, your thoughts, your dreams. What are you missing? It can't just get somewhere and be like, dude, you got to deal with that phone. Because he'll deal with the phone for a month and he'll turn into somebody who has one too many drinks or is always out with this. What it'll turn into another thing.
Not actually addressing the
there you go.
issue. Okay.
Yes. I would love for you to go back and say, we went into survival mode when our youngest one was sick. And I miss you. What does it look like for us to start sleeping together again? What does it look like for us to start having chit chats again when you get home? What's it look like for you to come home and from 5 to 9 p.m., there are no cell phones and you have somebody else that can take that call? I'd rather spend the money than lose my husband. What's it look like for you to go play with our kids with no phone? But I need this phone to be, that will come up, but that's not the root. The root is he's exhausted, he's checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And you saying, I want you back. And he may say, I thought you checked out. And so I got scared and so I checked out. That's probably what will happen. And you'll have to hear some hard stuff too, probably. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's another reason that I'm a little bit hesitant to bring stuff up with him is because he never complains about anything that I'm falling behind on. Like, I feel so guilty trying to point out something that he's doing that's that's not my favorite, because I never want to be the type of wife that is nagging, and I don't want him to feel like I am. And he never complains about anything that I do, and I know I'm not perfect. And so I don't want it to be this one-sided, well, I'm just doing what she says to keep her happy.
And it would go a long way for him to hear from you. Like, what do you want, hon? Like, what do you want this, like, paint a picture of this thing? We've got 2 little ones now. They're both safe. They're both healthy. They're both doing okay. We get to decide what this marriage looks like. And 4 hours on a phone until you collapse in front of the TV, that just seems like what a waste of the one reckless, precious life we got.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you two things. Number one, you're right. Nagging never solves anything. But choose guilt over resentment every time. You've heard me say that. I'll say it a million more times. Choose guilt. Choose, hey, I need you, I'm missing you, over saying nothing. Because you're going to say nothing long enough. And then all of a sudden you're going to say, it's going to turn to, well, screw you, man.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to come back from that. And by the way, nobody's perfect in a relationship. Nobody's perfect. And it's not a competition. Well, he never complained, so I can never complain. No. I think complaining is a waste of time. Telling somebody I miss you and I love you, and that phone is between us, that's not complaining. Going, get off your phone, get off your phone, get off your phone. That's complaining. You know what I mean? And once you have this hard conversation, once y'all go out and have breakfast together and you come back and he pops that phone up, he's making a choice. And that choice is that little 5-inch screen over his wife and his children. And that's why this whole thing's a risk. It's scary. Because he could choose that phone. He could choose, well, I'm going to buy houses. I'm flipping stuff, whatever. He could keep choosing and choosing and choosing. And that's why this whole thing is, you're way out on a limb here. But I don't think that's the kind of guy he is from what you've told me. I want him to hear, I miss you. And I'm not done fighting for you. I'm going all in on you. Let's get this thing back. And let's don't get this thing back. Let's build something new. Scratch that. I shouldn't have said that. I hate when people say that. We're not getting anything back. We're going to build something new. We're going to build something incredible. Let's do this together. You are awesome, Beth. He's lucky to have you. Let's have these conversations and let me know how that breakfast goes. I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait to hear about it.